In this video, we're going to look at another example of using the binomial probability formula to solve a probability question. Let's have a look. A factory produces components of which 1% are defective. The components are packed in boxes of 10. A box is selected at random. Find the probability that the box contains exactly one defective component. All right, so the first thing we should do is write down what the distribution is. And by what the distribution is, I mean one of these things where we write down the number of successes, or the things we're counting, in this case defective components. Okay, it has a binomial distribution, and we say what the number of trials are, n, and what the probability of success is on each of those. So for us, the number of defective components has a binomial distribution. There are 10 trials because each box contains 10 components, and the probability that each one is defective, that's going to count as our success here because that's the thing we're counting, is 1%, which is 0.01. Okay, now what's the probability that a box contains exactly one? Well, that's the probability that the number of successes, the number of defective components, is 1. And remember that our binomial probability formula is, first, the number of ways it could happen, which is 10 choose 1, multiplied by the probability of success to the power of the number of successes, 1 success, multiplied by the probability of failure, which is 0.99, to the power of the number of failures. And if we had 1 success out of the 10 attempts, then it must have been 9 failures. So all of that we can key into the calculator. So 10 choose 1 multiplied by 0.1 to the power 1 multiplied by 0.99 to the power 9, and our answer is 0.0914. And I've rounded that to 3 significant figures. Okay, the next question. Find the probability that there are at least 2 defective components in the box. We're going to look at these sorts of questions a lot later on, but for now we can still answer this because at least 2 means there's either 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. Now what we definitely don't want to do is work out the probability of each of those events and then add them all up. It will be here forever. What we can do is we can reason as follows though. We know that the number of defective components could be 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or so on, all the way up to 10. Those are the possible outcomes. Now, if we want the probability of there being at least 2, that's 2 or more, rather than working out the probability of all of the different events that it could be, we could work out the probability of all the events it could not be. And then once we've got those two, add them together and do 1 minus that, because if we want the probability of something not happening, it's just 1 minus the probability of it happening. All right, so we in fact already have the probability of it being 1. It's here. So we just need to work out the probability of it of x being 0. So the probability that x is 0 is, and using our formula again, 10 choose 0 ways for it to happen. Success happens 0 times. Failure happens on all 10 times. Multiply that out and we get 0.9044. Okay, so that means that the probability of there being at least 2, and we could describe that as x being at least 2, greater than or equal to 2, is 1 minus the probability of it being 1, which we worked out above, and minus the probability of it being 0. So we've done 1 minus the probability of it being 1 minus the probability of it being 0, and that leaves us with only the things that we're interested in. Okay, subtract each of those and we get 0.00427. Now, it's worth pointing out here that in order to keep things accurate enough there, I've used my exact answers here. Now, a nice way to do that is to store your answers as you go. So on the Casio calculator, you can store answers as letters. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, so here's my calculator, and we can, let's say here we are calculating the answer to the first question. So 10 choose 1 times 0.01 to the power 1 and multiplied by 0.99 to the power 9. So here's our answer, except you can see I rounded it when I wrote it here. I want to keep that exact answer. So what I do is I use this store button here, STO. So I click that, and then if I click on any one of these buttons here, it will store it as A, B, C, etc. So I'll just store that as A. So that means that this number is now stored as A in my calculator. So if I need to recall it, I just use alpha A, and there it is. So I can now calculate the second one. So that was 10 choose 0. And by the way, 10 choose 0, it's just good to know to speed things up in future. Anything choose 0 is just 1. So 10 choose 0 is just 1. And 0.01 to the power of 0 is also 1. So all of that is just 1 so far. And then 0.99 to the power of 10. And so here was the answer to the second question there. But I rounded that as well, so I want that stored in the calculator totally accurately. So I'll go to store, and I'll store this one as B. So now I've got A is the answer to the first question, and B is the answer to the kind of first bit of the second. So I've got the probability of it being 1 stored as A, and the probability of it being 0 stored as B. So when I did 1 minus each of those, I can now say 1 minus A minus B, and that's how we get the kind of nicely accurate answer. If we used our rounded answers, it wouldn't have got quite such an accurate answer there. So do that if you can. All right, I hope that's been a good overview of how to use the binomial formula, and a nice way to see how you can speed up questions that look like they might take forever and actually use a bit of clever thinking, work out the probability of things not happening can be faster, and we can get there more easily. I'll see you in the next video.